Hey guys, Paul Morrow here again doing a big news recap for Monday, 25 August. Here we go. First of all, our old buddy Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back in the news. Now, just to recount real quick, if you remember, Garcia's the guy came into the country illegally from El Salvador, tried to claim asylum, said that he had a gang problem back in El Salvador, that he had run afoul of MS-13 and he needed asylum here. And ultimately, the immigration judge rules, okay, you're deportable because you came here illegally, but you can be deported to anywhere but El Salvador because of this claim of his. And then ultimately, he gets rounded up in a sweep and gets sent back to El Salvador with a bunch of other El Salvadorans, and he ends up in that CICA terrorism prison. And then that character, Chris Van Hollen from the Senate, goes down there and has a margarita with him and all that stuff, and tried to make it a cause celeb, but clowned himself, let's be frank. Garcia then is brought back under the orders of a federal judge because the violation of the original ruling. And while he's here and waiting for his case to be adjudicated, he gets charged by the Trump DOJ on something he should have been charged with a while ago when it originally happened, which is human trafficking. And that is a trafficking case on him, so he's deportable. And it turns out, sure, anywhere but El Salvador, we'll send you back to Uganda. And that's where it is now. They're going to send him to Uganda. His lawyer is saying it's preposterous, his words, to send Garcia to Uganda because Garcia doesn't speak the language. Well, upon investigation, I tweeted about it last night, went kind of viral. Turns out that the official language of Uganda is, you guessed it, English. The same language of the nation Garcia broke into originally, America, to try to claim asylum. It doesn't look like the lack of English language should be any impediment to him. But look, here's a larger point. We talked about this originally when this case broke, and I have to reiterate it. And I really feel like a lot of our media and others are missing the point on this. The original sin here was the ruling of the immigration judge. Now, look, I'm sure he did what he thought was right, etc. He's got limited resources. You really have no time to do these things. We got 20 million people in this country. They all want to stay. But he decides that on the basis of whatever evidence Abrego Garcia presented in the immigration hearing, that, all right, you know what? You can't go back to El Salvador. We should not be adjudicating foreign gang conflicts on the ground here in America. Why? Because by definition, there's no way to investigate them. Period. End of story. We don't have the resources. These other nations don't cooperate at that level. Does anybody really think? I know the left pretends they believe this, but even they can't believe this. Does anybody believe we have the resources to fully investigate 20 million people who are here illegally? For all the people that we want to get out, you're going to investigate all these people. You got 8,000 ERO cops, all right? That's emergency removal officers in ICE. We don't have enough people to investigate all of this stuff. Never mind during a hearing that the immigration judge has the ability to reach back into El Salvador and ascertain, well, what's the nature of this gang beef? Because as it turns out, subsequent information is developed that Abrego Garcia is likely a member of MS-13 himself. He's with a bunch of them when he gets picked up. He's flying their gang colors. If you think you can fly a gang's colors while you're hanging around with them and you're not a member of that gang, let me tell you something, it's going to be a major mistake. You're going to learn the hard way that that's not the way to go. So I believe my own opinion here. He is a 13 member, and he wanted to stay here because he wasn't making it back home for whatever happened back there. I don't care. That's not our problem. We got our own gangs. We got Americans that we're trying to keep out of gangs, and we're trying to prosecute gangs that are preying on American kids. We don't need to import more gang problems here. It's insanity, and we shouldn't be doing it. That's the original sin here. You got to lower the bar for the due process. It likely should be something that Congress does. I don't know where our Congress is on this issue, but we have the majority on the right. We need the Republicans to pass some common sense legislation that speeds up the deportation process and checks the due process box, because it's getting to the point that it's ridiculous. I have a feeling I'll be talking about this tomorrow on the Martha MacCallum Show, so try to tune in. I'm scheduled there as of now, and I hope to see you there. We'll be talking about this and all kinds of stuff like this going forward this week, because it's going to be the issue. Crime, Latin America, all this stuff's heating up right now. I'm Paul Morrow for the Ops Desk.